All right. Nica, it's been a couple years, believe it or not, but it's good to see you. I had a lot of people, as I was saying earlier, comment on the post on Instagram that knew you
Yeah.
and wanted to help. But then you kind of, you were living in your car, I think, in Ballard at that time. But then I heard that you got shot.
Yeah.
Tell me about that story. What happened?
Well, I wish I knew more, honestly. But I was helping a friend of mine kind of remodel his RV. People kept, reaching into the window and, unlocking the door, taking stuff and whatever. So I was like, you got to do something different, So we were kind of just switching everything around from away from the door, And I think it was 6 a.m, I think. And I realized it was that early, and I had somebody watching my dog at my van. And I was going to be leaving Ballard, actually, that day. So I was getting my van fixed. And to come and pick my girlfriend up out here. And I forgot my phone plugged up. So I had, walked out the RV. I was like, damn it, I forgot my phone. I came back. And my friend's girlfriend was in the back asleep. And he was tired, so he's just like falling out. I'm like, bro, wake up. You know what I mean? Like, lock your shit up, Go to bed. You know what I mean? Like, I'm about to leave, And he's like, okay, yeah, all right. And I'm like, dude, like, wake up, dude, And I just heard, we're outside the Fremont Brewery, and there's those big ass cinder blocks that they put places so people can't park there, pitch tents there, and we was parked there anyways, like, but there's gravel in between the cinder blocks, and so I heard footsteps on the gravel, and I turned around, and just kind of. The only way I can really explain it is like a spider web, almost, and filled in, white, and I kind of just turned around and stood there for a second. We had a joke going on earlier in the day where he was, siphoning gas into his little makeshift gas tank, and he had a propane tank running and a heater running, and I'm like looking at all this shit. I'm like, I'm out of here, like you guys can be fucked up. And they're like, oh, come on, Nick. And I popped up out the window from the outside. I was like, I'll be right here, like you guys can blow up if you want to, and that was literally like hours before, you know what I mean? So I didn't know exactly what happened, and I'm just like, and then I felt, that burn that people that get shot talk about, and kind of just looked at him, and I was like, Mario, wake up, bro. And he's like, what? And I'm like, dude, I think I just got shot. And he was like, no. I'm like, turn around and see all the blood, and it looked like something exploded, you know what I mean? I looked at it briefly, because they always say once you look at it, you'll feel it, and I didn't really feel anything, but I collapsed, and I hear him talking about, what did he say? He goes, we need to get the fuck out of here. I was like, fuck, he's gonna leave me here, it's bullshit, I'm gonna crawl up out of here,
Well, where did you get shot?
I got shot right above my left butt cheek, actually, point blank.
And he shot you?
Absolutely not, no.
Who shot you?
It's unknown, actually.
Wow.
I mean, I know,
Okay.
But
You don't want to say?
it's not just that. It's just, I don't have proof except for, I mean, nobody even knew I got shot in the back until I woke up from my coma, The rumor actually went around that my friend Mario shot me, and he didn't. He saved my life,
Because he stayed there and helped you,
He picked me up
picked you up.
and, kind of threw me onto the cinder block, And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And he's like, hold on, and he's going around the cinder block and, he's struggling and, it's not just one, it's like multiple and like, it's made so you can't maneuver around it, and I maneuvered myself around it, and by the time he got to me, I was on the outside of like 3 away, and I was about to collapse again. He grabbed me and his little poodle dog comes running out, barking, you know what I mean? And bites both of our ankles. So we fall, boom. And I'm like, fuck. I was like, I'm sorry. Because I'm like kind of on top of him. And he's like, what? Shut up. What are you sorry for? He's like, come on. And so he picks me up again. I don't know how he did it, but it was like, and he just threw me in a car. Like, I'm like, when did you even open the door? And he went around and told the driver, he was like, go. Just go to the hospital. He's like, don't stop. Go. You know what I mean? And he runs. I don't know where he ran, but he ran. And dude had just got done putting gas in his car. And so when he, turned the ignition, it was like, I'm like holding myself on the oh shit handle. I'm like, please don't let me die in your car, bro. And he's like, no, you're not going to die. And you're not going to die in my car. And I'm like, your car's not even starting. He's like, I just put gas in it. And so, he hit it again and, pressed, and it started putting. It putted for like 3 blocks. Like, and I mean like long, what I call span-away blocks. These blocks are long, okay? They're far and few. Like, it takes you a good 15 minutes, if not more, to get to the next block. You know what I mean? And by the time we got to the Ballard Food Bank, maybe like a half a mile, his car just went through the intersection and just went, And luckily, Swedish is right there. You know what I mean? And I'm telling him as we're pulling up, like, just go tell him you have a gunshot wound victim, And he's like, no. And I'm like, yes, dude. Like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get myself about this car. He's not listening. And I'm like a control freak. I'm like, dude, I'm like dying, I feel like, like, do what I say, And he's like, no, dude, I'm going to get you a wheelchair. I'm like, fuck a wheelchair. I want a wheelchair. And he's like, okay, I'll tell him, And we pull up. And I'm telling him I was wrong about the entrance and everything. I was like, it's that one. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, oh my God, this motherfucker won't listen to me, It was the wrong entrance, and he was right, I was wrong, whatever. No biggie, but he comes out.
You have a good excuse. You were shot, so
I was
okay.
tripping,
Yeah,
I was just like, what the fuck is really, this is really happening, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, he came out with like 2 nurses in a wheelchair. And they wheeled me back into the surgery room immediately. And I remember waking up one time on the surgery table. They didn't know where I got shot. They thought I got shot right here. It's because the bullet hit so much shit, it didn't have enough velocity to come out all the way.
Oh, wow.
And me holding myself up on the handle, my muscles pushed it back in, so it was just bouncing around in there, just having a good old time, chilling. What's up, liver? Nice to see you, bro. And so I woke up to just gloves, hands and gloves, and I was like looking down, and I was breathing in. Every time I breathe in, I'd see a bulge, And one of the first things I asked too was like, is it out? Did you get it out? And they're like, no, not yet. And I'm like, oh my God. And I look down and I'm like, it's right there. I'm over dramatic as fuck, like with almost everything. And so they're like, okay, Mr. Ant, calm down. And I'm like, it's right there, look. And they're like, oh, there it is. And I was like, they're like, yeah, the gunshot wound to, abdomen. I was like, I wasn't shot in the abdomen, I was shot in the back. And they turned me over immediately. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, no, she was shot in the back. And they were all just like, what? And that was the last thing I remember. I woke up again to a surgeon standing over me, and first thing he said was, welcome back, Mr. Trent. And I'm just looking at him like, he's like, yeah, I just need to make sure you're stable, and are you okay that we medevac you to Harborview? And I was like, he goes, okay. And the last thing I remember what I didn't know was when they medevac somebody, I guess they have to keep them, I guess, somewhat conscious, at a conscious state, because the altitude and stuff like that. And I don't know if you call them EMTs or aviation EMT, I don't know what you call them, but dude, I just remember waking up to him talking about, okay, she's an addict, so, you know, I learned Narcan usually gets them awake. And I'm like, I'm not high, do not Narcan me, you know? And he's like, oh, there she is, and like, he's like, see, Narcan works. He said it again, I kicked him. He's like, okay, and like, we don't want to strap you down. And I'm like, get away from me. You know, I kick him again. He's like, you just had, you know, major abdominal surgery, like, please stop kicking me. And I'm like, do not Narcan me is the last thing I remember. He's like, I'm not, calm down, you know? And I woke up again to my mom and my sister 5 days later. Yep.
And then eventually you kind of, I guess, recover and were released from the hospital. And where do you go?
To some more bullshit, almost. Just about. My girlfriend did a lot of work while I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital for 2.5 weeks, I guess. Straight out of ICU, I was doing laps because they were scared that I couldn't walk. So the bullet hit my spine and fractured my pelvis in 3 places, and took a chunk out of my spine. It severed my small and my large intestines and lacerated my liver. And yeah, so I was in a wheelchair, but they discharged me in a wheelchair, but somehow I got my hands on a walker and left that way.
Yeah, I think I saw you, back here, or you came in the Commons, you had a cane, I think.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, that was, when I saw you, it was maybe like a week and a half out of the hospital.
Oh yeah, real early.
Yeah, and then when I saw you back there, that was maybe like, I didn't realize it, but it was good 4 months, you know?
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun, you know?
Well, what's it been like? I mean, since, I think I heard you are in housing now?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
So when did you get housing?
So I got shot October 12th, got released the 29th of October, something like that, and housing November 6th.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. I could say it's not all that it's cracked up to be, you know, because it's not, but it's better than being out here. You know what I mean? I'd much rather deal with all the bullshit and stuff like, you know, the last video, you know, being discriminated against and, you know, like all that. I'd much rather deal with that, being in that little studio apartment, you know, being able to call it mine, being able to go home to my girlfriend and my 2 dogs now. I have 2 dogs, I have a little Chihuahua and a Great Dane. But just to be able to do that, you know, even just have a puppy.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's got to be something about opening a door, closing a door behind you, and locking it that is less stressful than being on the street or in your car where you were, you know.
I mean, but you can close and lock your car door, you know what I mean? I feel like doors are a false sense of security. Ultimately, you know what I mean? My security comes from within and people that I love, you know? Honestly.
Yeah, community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. It's a different type of security and safety.
Yeah.
In that for sure. Right on.
I don't feel as alone. Even though I wasn't necessarily alone, you know what I mean? Like, it's lonely out here, you know? It can get lonely anywhere, though, really.
Well, specifically here, tell me more. Tell me more about that.
Tell you more about what?
Loneliness out here.
it just kind of goes a little bit deeper, a little bit like farther than like survival of the fittest. You know what I mean? Like, because it's really not even of the fittest. It's, you know, kind of more so the survival of the minds, and even then, you still might not survive. You know, and I'm blessed to be walking and talking. You know what I mean? Lost a lot of close friends since then, you know, to various different things. I don't know if that's what makes me appreciate life a little bit more, if it makes me question it more. Like, you know, you're meant to be here, and it's like, well, you know, am I supposed to search for that meaning? Like, that I'm meant to be here, so like, let me do that, because it's like, what legacy am I leaving? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had died that day, what legacy am I leaving, you know?
Yeah, those are good, big questions.
Stuff I think about every day almost, you know? And I want to do more, you know?
Say more about that. What do you mean?
I want to do more to be remembered by, you know? No matter who it's by, and no matter like the amount of people, as long as you're remembered, you live on, in my opinion, you know? Yeah.
Nica, what do you want for your future? What do you see?
Just to live the life that I want to live, honestly. I don't want to live the normal life and all that stuff, because like my experiences being homeless and the people that live the normal life, I feel like a lot of them are jaded, a lot of them are, and it sucks to have to say them, you know, because essentially I'm them now too, but it's different mentality, I guess, because I've had these experiences and I've been, you know what I mean, looked down upon, even if I'm wearing like my Sunday's best, you know, and it hurts, and it easily can make somebody jaded and not want to even participate, you know. But I don't know, I guess the athlete in me, like, you know, wants to kind of compete and just kind of show them, like, they were wrong almost. Even if, you know, because there's those people that they'll never admit when they're wrong. and they'll go to sleep at night okay with that, you know what I mean? Like, as long as they think that nobody knows, like, they're cool, you know? Well, I said it, so it means it's a fact. Sure, whatever. Yeah, I just want to prove, like, even, like, you know, that dude that at that chicken shop, you know, I didn't have to do anything, but, you know, his shop is closed. Everything's still there. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know the shop. I know the shop you're talking about.
It's crazy, like, you know?
Yeah,
and I remember telling him, I was like, dude, you don't know me. I could be fucking famous on Yelp.
Yeah,
you know?
there's that reap what you sow kind of.
Exactly, you know, you have to let the universe handle it, I guess.
Yeah.
I've just been a firm believer in that my whole life, and like, so far, it's gotten me here, you know?
One last question, and I asked this last time. Is there anything you want the people of Seattle to know?
I'm from Tacoma.
Or Tacoma? Or anybody out there?
Well, no, I'm from Tacoma. I'm telling
Okay.
them, yeah, I'm from Tacoma, number one. You know what I mean? And I've been out here for a good 7 years. And for, I guess, the people that I've come across that have befriended me, and all the people that have been welcoming, thank you. And yeah, I'm still here. And I'm, you know, paying it forward.
Right on. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good. It's good to hear your voice again.
Thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hang in there.